Notice, in accordance with new copyright regulations, this episode of Quoth Raven is intended for ages 16 and up, while some of the content we sometimes feature is kid-friendly. To context the episodes to address adults and inform those said content for them to research as consumers in service of their youth. In other words, parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, teachers, librarians, etc. There is a possibility of adult language present on the episode as well, rated TV 16 and up. Welcome again, everyone, to another edition of Quoth Raven, Lewis Bright Raven. I'm your host, Lewis Bright Raven, 29-year veteran writer, illustrator, editor, comic, science fiction, fantasy, horror, and role-playing games. And it is Monday, May 17th. That means it is time for another Monday Reviews. But before we do that, we got questions, Q&A session. And Monster Fan says, hail the Raven, hope all is well. Well, I'm a little bit zoned out, tired. Other than that, I'm doing okay. It's just been a long past 24 hours. I haven't had enough sleep, that's all. And Pop Culture says, hail Raven as well. So let's go ahead and get to those questions. Our first question of the day is from Anonymous. How long does it take you to read a comic book graphic novel? Well, it depends on the length of the book and the type of artwork and, different factors. It also depends on how crunched for time I am to produce enough reviews for a show. But I'm a fast reader anyway, or at least I used to be. I'm not as fast as I used to be. My eyes don't agree with me long enough to go extended periods of time to read forever like I used to do. Usually around 20 minutes to read a comic and write a review for it, for regular 32-page comic, 22 to 20 pages of story in it. And a graphic novel, anything under 150 pages, usually half hour, 45 minutes. Over 150 pages to 300 pages, usually about an hour, hour and a half to get through everything. It's just a matter of, I spend probably more time writing the reviews than I do reading the books in some cases. But I try to read a lot of stuff, and that's why you'll see me do 15 or 20 or 30 reviews in an episode, and then other ones I'll only do like 6 or 8. It just matters on my time. Next question. So from another Anonymous. How do you determine your topics of discussion? Sometimes it seems like you made it up on the fly, and other times like you put thought into it. Well, I always try to put thought into it. But yes, there are episodes where I'm working on the fly because what I planned doesn't pan out due to people who I hoped would be on the show having to cancel or having other reasons where they're not going to be on. And I don't want to do a show strictly by myself about a certain topic. So I come up with something on the fly. That happens quite a bit, unfortunately. particularly on the Thursday night show lately, because of, people are having illness from still having COVID situations, and they're still having other things going on, and so sometimes I'm kind of stuck, and I just have to wing it, as it were. But I try to have something planned every episode. Next question. JT asks, how come you never read or review any of the popular manga series? Are you anti-manga? I am not anti-manga. The truth of the matter is, most of the stores around me don't carry them. So unless I special order them, I'm not going to get them. And I'm not that interested in getting them for myself in that respect, so I don't often buy them unless it's something I really, really want. Like, I got a Cowboy Bebop collection, or actually an ex-girlfriend of mine gave me that collection for Christmas some years ago. But, if there's something I really, really want, yeah, sure, I'll get it. But it's not that often. But as for me not being willing to review or read stuff, well, I just got back from my local library. One Punch Man, Volume 1. Soulless, number 1, Volume 1. Soulless, Volume 2. Planetes, Volume 1. Reggie 12. Guess what's going to happen next week, Friday? Manga night. And that's just part of what I got. Those are just the ones that you might know. I got a bunch of obscure ones, too. So I don't want to hear no more complaining. I get what I can. When I can. Another person asked me, another question was, books. Why don't I review more prose fiction books, more common, popular, recent stuff? And again, it's lack of time, and I haven't got time to read everything that's out there. So I don't know what you want me to read. You have to let me know what it is you want me to read, and I'll see what I can do. But I make no promises on what I can and cannot review. Pop Culture says, I hear Chainsaw Man is a really good manga. That I don't know if is even available in my through my library, but I'll look. Angela asks, how often do you follow sites like CBR, Comic Book Resources, Bleeding Cool, ICV2, etc., for content? Truth be told, I try not to. Unless someone like directly points to a article on one of their sites in Facebook to me, or I come across it in my Facebook feed, or there's something that everybody's talking about. Like recently, ICV2 listed a bunch of stuff about how manga is outselling everything, and that's kind of what came up with this whole manga thing. Was, well, you never read anything. You should be reading Attack on Titan. You should be reading One Punch Man. You should be reading Soul Slayer and stuff like that. Well, guess what? Soul Slayer, I've ordered it from the library. I've ordered this stuff, to see what it is, because it's not available in my comic shops, and they're not really around in the immediate bookstores around me. I suppose if I went to the other side of the north side of town, we're the other side of the base and everything, and about 40 minutes away one way, I could probably find a place that actually carries them. But again, do I really want to spend money on them when I spend as much money as I already do? So I'll do what I can with getting them from the local libraries, because the library seems to have quite a bit of the stuff when I looked at it recently. So I'm getting what I can. So if you have questions that you want to ask me, and you're catching me off camera, or you're watching the show in replay, and you have a question, email me at quotheravenlbr72@gmail.com, subject QDR Q&A, and ask your question, and I'll do my best to give you an answer. Okay, then. That takes care of our questions for today. Let's pop into our reviews. We start with Kanto and the City of Giants, number 2 from IDW Publishing for $3.99. The writer is David Humbuher. The artist is Sebastian Perez. Genre is fantasy. It was released May 10th, 2021. And what it's about: to recruit the aid of the Giants, Kanto must slay a foul beast that lurks deep within the heart of a maze outside the giant city. Aided by only a mostly unexpected weapon, Kanto must defeat the Pharaoh and return its horn. That is, if he doesn't get lost in the maze. Kanto and the City of Giants number 2 opens in the labyrinth where the Pharaoh lives. Kanto plainly does not trust the witch, but unlocks the restraints in her hands. She wanted to come into the maze. Presumably she knows something about how to get through it. But she also shares that her name is Elda. Is this a gesture of trust, or is she merely tired of being called a vile witch? Kanto demands that she tell him the truth. She claims that she wants to help him. At Kanto's insistence, she tells him a little bit more. Pharaoh, the name of the beast, also refers to iron, and she believes the beast may be mechanical in part. She does seem to have some magical powers over metal. She tells Kanto that his axe may do little against it. Kanto rarely believes her and tells her his name. She, however, persists in calling him a little slaver. Meanwhile, Kanto's friends Falco and Ricta are with Fra and Ba. Those are the 2 giants who had their legs removed and were no longer giants. And we're in the first issue, which is why Kanto is going into this maze to get this horn so that they can give Fra and Ba another chance to give them their legs back so they can be giants again. They're there to protect the 2 giants from insects. As giants sleep, their guard duty is boring, and they spar and make puns to keep themselves occupied. Then the giants awake, and suddenly 2 small warriors are up against a giant beetle. They cut back to Kanto. The maze goes on and on, a mix of crumbling stone walls and growing purple crystals. Elda does seem to know where she's going, and they reach the place she believes is Pharaoh's nest. Kanto touches a dead crystal and suddenly has a vision of the Shrouded Man, who tells him that the witch will betray him. There's a little more back and forth between the 2 of them, but at this point, Kanto just isn't going to trust the Shrouded Man and doesn't let anything the Shrouded Man says get to him anymore. He strikes the dead crystal with his axe, but when he turns around, the Mysterian Witch is gone. Has he been betrayed, as the Shrouded Man has insisted? And where is the Pharaoh? Oh, only right behind you, Kanto. And that's where they leave us off. The pacing's well done. Perez's art on the series is much better than other things I've seen him work on in recent times, which is not to say his work was bad on the other things I saw him on. It was just that this is that much better. I doubt that Elda has really betrayed Kanto, but we'll see in the next issue, which should be out really soon, sooner than normal, if I remember the solicits correctly. As usual, this series is one of the stronger titles in the market today, particularly for all ages category. I recommend it for ages 10 and up. I give it 4 stars. Our next book, or actually, let's show you a little bit of this. Here's, Ricta and the other one. I can't think of his name, but they're sparring, and the 2 giants have woken up, and they're buried up to their necks, side by side to each other, by the other giants. And here's this giant beetle thing that's coming to get them. I don't know if it's really they say it's a beetle, but it's really not a beetle. It's more like a cross between a beetle and a millipede. So here they go to attack it. Plus they got their one of their friends' steeds there that's going to help them. So there's the 3 of them against this insect. And then here's where Elda tells Kanto not to touch the dead crystals because they'll deceive you. And then, of course, that's what he does. He touches it, and that's when the Shredded Man tells him that he's going to be betrayed. Now we can get to the next book. Grendel, Devil's Odyssey number 6 of 8, $3.99. Publisher is Dark Horse. Writer, illustrator is Matt Wagner with colors by Brennan Wagner. The cover artist, this is Matt Wagner's cover. There's a variant cover by Ben Stenbeck as well, I believe. I could be wrong on the variant cover artist. I could be mistaken. I know that was definitely last issues, but I think he did another one for number 6 as well. The genre is science fiction, fantasy, action, adventure. It was released May 12th, 2021. And what it's about. Decades of searching have finally led Grendel Prime and Sigma 7 to the planet Bohan Fek, which has an environment similar to Earth's, and where civilization exists at a medieval level technology and is shared between 3 different intelligent species. But the entire culture operates under a feudal system and centers around a ritualistic form of combat known as the ordeal, which Grendel Prime must navigate through. Only Prime doesn't believe in this system, and he aims to end it as a ritual entirely. He stands as representative to a young lad who is wrongly accused by his master for having spoiled his daughter. Ultimately, the young man becomes the apprentice of Grendel and serves as a bard, telling the legend of the White Warrior. While Grendel breaks every circle of ordeal, nothing they have to, basically does, he gets in this circle and people fight him, but no weapons they have can harm him. So he always wins and chooses not to kill his opponent, which is what you're supposed to do, is kill your opponents to the death. But he's just saying, no, you can't hurt me. I've defeated you. I'm sparing your life because this system is stupid and it's outmoded and we don't need to do that. So he's basically breaking the system down. This will lead him into conflict with some power group in the next upcoming issue. My thoughts are, well, it's certainly not one would expect from a Grendel book in the sense that the character is eschewing violence. But in a way, he's manipulating the society to follow him, and then he can rule the planet and do what he needs to bring humanity to it. So there is a logical stratagem that the character is utilizing. Still, I wonder if we appreciate the subtlety of this, given that we're used to seeing quite a bit of quote-unquote meaningful violence in Grendel books. So it will be interesting to see where this goes, if the Monarch Gamma Gorach is of any real threat or competition to Prime next issue. Recommended for ages 16 and up, 4 out of 5 stars. Here's some of the art. And here's where he's fighting the master who was challenging his apprentice son who had sex with his daughter and devoured her or whatever. Yeah, so, okay. Again, they have no weapons that can do anything. So he broke a spear. Now he's breaking his best sword over him. And it's a cool artwork. And like I said, he's, he basically knocks the guy out with a taser shot from his glove, and when he wakes up, that's the way it is. And then the other horse guy who was who he basically championed for, wants to know why you did it for me. Why did you stand up for me? And he explains, because I was opposed to the ordeal. I mean to see it eradicated. And, they make a deal that he becomes his, like I said, his bard, and tells the story of this guy's, history, basically. Mm-hmm. So that's a cool book. And here we go again. And again, he's telling the bard of the story and getting followers for Grendel, basically. Pop Culture Avenger asks, is Kanto a miniseries or ongoing? It's an ongoing series of miniseries. That's the best way to put it. There, geez, I don't know how many different ones there are now. But this is like the third arc, and it lasts like 3 issues, and then they'll go on the fourth arc right after that, later this year. I think there's been a total maybe 13 issues between the three that have come out so far, or 12, 13 with the next one that'll finalize this arc for Kanto. Our next book is Holler number 3, publisher It's Alive for $5.99. The writer artist is Jeremy Massey. The genre is coming of age, rock and roll, teenage angst type stuff. And it was released May 12th, 2021. The story has 3 multiple events going on. One is about a local business who has a large sign in town who posts anti-gay commentary, and the drummer of the band and a friend keep vandalizing it by changing the letters to make the store owner look bad. Another is how the guys are putting porn mag photos all over town. I've never seen or heard about anybody doing this sort of thing before. It's crazy, but okay, whatever. But the key story to me is how the lead of the book, Mark, that's the guy on the cover there, that looks like he's suffering from insomnia, screws up his relationship with his girlfriend, Jennifer, through jealousy over a friendship with another guy, whom, of course, she starts dating after they break up. I wasn't expecting that, especially this early in the series, as they seemed to have a solid relationship going on in the first 2 issues. Was it Mark's immaturity, or does he have valid concerns about Jennifer's loyalty to him? It's implied that it could have gone either way, maybe a little bit of both. And it also shows how Mark goes into depression and into heavier recreational drug use. And it's a really somber, sad issue in terms of the stories. I pretty much expressed my thoughts while saying what it's about. He does a very nice job presenting things from Mark's perspective. He has a nice ending to the breakup story, even if it's a bit melancholy. I guess I just would like to see a bit more of the relationships breaking down than what was shown, because Mark does act like a total moron in some respects. It's kind of a jealousy type thing, I guess. And she's going to college because she's extra smart. So she's got a friend in college who's older than them, and the whole, do I trust her and do I not trust her type thing going on. And I was like, I mean, I don't know. It's realistic. It's totally believable. I just, I guess you could say I was just rooting for the characters, and it was sad to see them break up. I guess would be the best way to explain how I was reacting to it. Recommended for ages 16 and up. Give it 3.5 stars. Well, hold on. I will be right back because I thought it was here. It's not. Before we do Imagination Link, let's show some of the inside there for Holler. It's a shoe store, sneakers and things, and it says Jesus saves, amen, stuff like that. And then he starts doing homosexuality is a sin, other things that are in there. Um, again, this is sort of a mature readers type thing going on, but you know, you can see all this gay abortions, more, murders, all those, pray for your country, and then they tear everything down and think you rape dogs gross. They really do make the guy regret it, more or less. Um, Eventually, it just went back to business, and nothing goes on. But it was interesting storyline. But like I said, the main storyline that was Jennifer hanging out with the other guy, and her breaking up with Mark. So um, it's interesting book, and still quality read. Now let's go ahead and go on to the imagination link. Number 53, I got it free. It's not really free. It's like $2.50 if you want to contact the creator. Publisher is Sism Comics Group. The writer artist is Alan Sism. It's a fanzine mini comic. It's 8 pages long. Genre is science fiction. Cover says April 21. I received it in the mail on Friday. What it's about: a robotic drone sent by aliens goes to a world that gained. Let me reread that. A robotic drone sent by aliens to a world gains sentience, thinks it's a human being turned into a drone, and counters its programming to destruct the alien ship that sent it to the planet he's about to go land on. Now it intends to protect the planet from alien invaders. My thoughts are that the story is pretty well told for an 8-page story intro to the property. Obviously, there are a lot of questions. Why does this probe think it used to be a human? What planet is this drone now protecting? And then there's other questions that I presume will be addressed in good time. I mean, 8 pages, you're only going to get so much. I recommend it for all ages, and it is a 3.5 out of 5. And here's how small the book is. I mean, it's, compare this to a regular comic. I don't even have a regular comic right now with me, but okay, I'm going to do this. You can see how small it is. A little mini comic here. And, the artwork isn't necessarily, Marvel DC, but it's not meant to be. It's just meant to be a fun little 8-page underground. So, anyway, the best thing you can do with the Sism Comics Group is contact Alan Sism at P.O. Box 842, Greenwood, Indiana, 46142. Now, these are 28-page books. They're $2 each, I guess. This is an 8-page, so it's definitely going to be. They're small. They're smaller digest size. So I'm assuming that this is just a mini one compared to the regular ones. Again, let me write in Alan's address here. There you go. So if you want to get any of his stuff like the Xenology Report, which I've already reviewed, but this is basically him reviewing other people's mini comics that he gets from other undergrounders. And then if you want to get the Imagination link, or any of the other stuff that he has. He has quite a few things. Um, you can write him and ask him about it and send him a little bit of money for his time. I think it's worth it. Hold on a second. Jeremy just contacted me and says, "Awesome! I'll have to check in." Yeah, I'm like, "Yeah, you're late. I already reviewed it." But there we go. Anyway, our next book is Resident Alien. Your ride's here. $3.99, number 66. This is supposed to be the series finale. Publisher is Dark Horse, writer Peter Hogan with artist Steve Parkhouse. Genre is science fiction thriller, released May 12th. Again, the series finale. A lonely alien explorer stranded on Earth pretending to be a small town family doctor, all the while cultivating relationships with the locals and solving strange mysteries. Harry, that's the alien, discovers a renewed sense of purpose when he joins patients' residents in the search for an abducted child, and someone's ride shows up. My thoughts are there's no surprises. Everything played out exactly as I expected it to. Unfortunately, I really can't talk about too much of it without spoiling the ending. If this really is the end of the series, it's a decent enough closure, but they do say not really the end at the end of the book, so they'll probably return to it at some point. I don't know. It's just it's cool what they do. So I'm certainly not disappointed with it in any way. Ages 16 and up, 4 out of 5 stars. Our next book is Stake Number 3, $3.99. Publisher is Scout Comics. The writer is David A. Byrne, with artist Francesca Fattini, letterer Joel Rodriguez. The genre is horror. Released May 12th. It's about Angel and Jessamy catch a murder case when an anti-vampire person is found drained in their home. Jessamy forces Angel to canvass the neighbors, which leads to an encounter to an old friend of Jessamy's. But it's the discovery of a vampire nest in Detroit that gives Angel a chance to do exactly what she wants, which is crack some skulls. My thoughts is it's an improvement over the past 2 issues. It's just that I've seen this concept done better so many times by other authors and other media that I really just haven't been able to get into the book that much. It's a mature reader's book. There's a lot of cussing. There's a lot of blood shed. There's a lot of it's just mature reader stuff. 3.5 stars. And here's part of the artwork. Angel is the one with the dark hair. Jessamy's the one with the blonde, whitish hair. And their friend is a trans person who's also been turned into a vampire by Jessamy, but it's weird. But overall, it's okay. They started out with more black and white when they first started doing this, and now they're getting into more part color, as you can see in different areas, but it's still like a black and gray tone book. And I don't know. I mean, it's not that I don't like it. It looks unique, but I don't know. I think, it's kind of weird because, okay, she's got pink and purple lips at different times. At other times, she's got, no lips colored in because, well, they weren't consistent, with the coloring. I wish they would just pick color or black and white and go with it, to be honest. The spot color just isn't quite working for me. But, it's not bad art by any means. I'd actually like to see Fantini go over to DC and do something with like a Death miniseries, because I could see Angel kind of looking like the Death character for the Endless, but I don't know. Here's another scene. She's basically telling the vampires in the nest, you can either come out and register as vampires, or else I get to, basically have at it. And so, they say, nope, we're not doing anything. And, she puts her beats on and starts tearing everybody up. Static, trade paperback, 1999. Dark Horse's publisher. Writer illustrator is Matt Lesniewski. The colors are by Carlos Bandia. The genre is science fiction action adventure. Released May 12th. And what it's about is Emmett Stone. That's the guy in the foreground carrying the bag with the kind of cyborg overpiece over his one side of his face there. Is man at the end of his rope. A former muscle for hire for a mad scientist, he now hunts monsters on the post-apocalyptic wastelands, the same ones that his employer makes. All the while, he's being hunted himself by a violent gang of drug dealers who he owes money to from his past indulgences. Pop Culture Adventures is nice cover stack. Well, all of Matt's work is very nice. That's why I picked it up, because it was Matt doing it. I got a book from him for in black and white last year, and I was like, oh, yeah, I want this guy's stuff. So anyway, my thoughts on this is Dark Horse on the website says it's 14 and up. I'm sorry, it's not. It's 16 and up. There's way too much vulgar language and adult-themed content, with the lead being an ex-junkie and the whole bike gang out to get him for not paying for fast drugs and not buying more drugs, and there's too much blood for a 14-year-old. I mean, this is, it's a mature reader's book, to be honest, in my opinion. But I'll go with 16 and up. I think a 16-year-old could probably handle it, but 14 is a little bit too young for all the language in it. If this was made into a movie, it would not be a PG-13 or a TV-14. It would be an MA film. So let's be consistent. That having been said, I do need to come back and reread it. My initial reaction is that it's middle of the road, but there's something telling me I haven't given it a full review, that I give it the proper amount of time to read it and let it sit with me and figure out what I'm thinking. And because of that, I might be prone to give it a lower rating than it deserves. So I'm going to hold off and revisit it on Wednesday, okay? Again, I recommend it for ages 16 up. The rating is to be determined. We will come back to it on Wednesday. Now, that leaves Heavy Metal number 306. Now, I know Andy Smith's probably wondering what I think of his short story. Haven't gotten to it yet, bud. I will get to it for Wednesday. He's got a story in here about a guy who drives a Barracuda and passes through time and stuff like that, and it's kind of a weird thing. But I'll be interested to see where that goes, and of course the other stories as well. Now, what else did I get today? Because I didn't just go to the library and get a bunch of stuff. I did, but I didn't just get those few books that I mentioned. Jeremy says, hold on a second. Here we go. Jerry Massey is watching the video and retro replay, and he says porning is a totally real thing. We did it all the time. Um, Now that porno thing is like they take pictures of the porno mags and stick them in people's mailboxes and stick them in people's cars and other places that are in public, more or less. Like I said, I've never heard of that before. I'm not saying it wasn't real. I'm just saying I never heard of it. um, this is in what, West Virginia, I think is where this is taking place. Rural Appalachia. Uh, I would imagine that they got to do some things to keep themselves entertained. um, I don't know. Um, but again, that's about the Holler issue. Um, I was a little bit. I won't say I was shocked by it or anything. It was just something that threw me off because it was. I've lived in rural areas, and that wasn't something that was something I was ever experienced. So I was like, okay, that's a new one. But like I said, there's different things in different parts of the country that people do that are kind of weird. So it is what it is. Pop Culture Avenger says, I have to get that myself and read the Andy Smith story. I did breeze through Andy's story. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. I didn't know it was Andy at first because it doesn't say Andy Smith. It says A. Christopher Smith as the artist. So I was like, okay, now we know Andy's middle name, I guess. And why he went A. Christopher instead of just Andy Smith, I don't know. But I was like, because when I first went thumbing through it looking for it, I was like, well, where's the stuff? But I did find it, and that's the only one I've actually read through. But I'm going to review the whole thing, so I might just wait until I've read it all and give it a good review overall, or a review, necessarily a good one. We'll wait and see if it gets a good one. But anyway, what else did I get? Oh, geez, I went to the library, like I said. I also got people ask if I buy regular or read regular books. Well, I got this: Under the Moons of Mars, New Adventures of Barsoom, based on Edgar Rice Burroughs' John Carter, edited by Joan Joseph Adams. Some of the writers in this book include Peter S. Beagle of The Last Unicorn fame, Tobias S. Buckell, Chris Claremont, Joe R. Lansdale, Ellie Modesti Jr., Garth Nix, S.M. Sterling, Catherine M. Valente, Genevieve Valentine, and Robin Wasserman. And there's a lot of cool illustrations in here as well, including art by Jeff Carlisle, Molly Crabapple, Tom Daly, Michael Kaluta, Charles Vess, and Chrissy Zillow, among others. So I'm looking forward to looking through that and reading that. I pretty much got it for the Claremont story because I haven't read any Claremont in a while. And I kind of want to see how he holds up on the newer stuff. More manga stuff. Since people tell me I don't follow enough manga, I figured, well, I better see what's all out there. So I borrowed this, The Rough Guide to Manga, and I'll go through that and see if there's anything. It says there's 50 must-read manga, including Astro Boy, which of course I have read. Fruits Basket, I've seen it. Battle Royale, I'm not sure. Lesser known works like Please Save My Earth, haven't heard of that one, so we'll see what they've got here. But basically whatever they're going to tell me about, I'll see what they got and see what I can get from my library. Mm-hmm. Let's see what else I got back there. Right behind my sleeve here. People have been telling me I need to read Brandon Sanderson, very popular science fiction fantasy author. So I went and grabbed a couple of his books as well. Actually, I think I have read this book from him, Skyward. The cover looks familiar to me when I saw it today. I haven't really read the just reading the inside, suspense up. Yeah, I've read this before. Okay, I'll probably breeze through it again just to refresh my memory and do a quick review on it then. But this Legion thing, I know I haven't read, so I'll give that a shot. But it says Legion, the many lives of Stephen Leeds with different personalities, and I feel like, did this guy read Chris Claremont's X-Men New Mutants and take Legion from with the multiple personality character from the New Mutants and make a novel out of it? That's kind of what I'm looking for on that one. But so I got like a lot of stuff going on. And then, well, I was at the store today. I got the complete second season of Doom Patrol on DVD. And I got Justice Society World War II on DVD. Mm-hmm. So I'll be watching those this week, hopefully at some point. And I've also gotten some videos from the library as well. A Discovery of Witches. Scary Stories, which I guess is a different filmmakers telling you what stories scared them and what made them want to become horror storytellers themselves. And then there's this other film called Fast Color, which is a female-empowered superhero movie about a woman who has superpowers who has to go on the run when her powers are discovered. So I figured I'll, see what that is about. So that's a lot for this week. But Wednesday, I will get my books in, hopefully, from Diamond at my local comic shop. You've been on the hunt for goodies. Yeah, I have. Well, it's not just I've been on the hunt. I'm always on the hunt for stuff. It's just, heck, I got so much stuff I can't even keep up with what I already have. It's like, but people are more or less saying I need to go and be even more diverse than I usually am. So, okay, I'll try. That's all I can do. Yeah. Let's see. On Wednesday, this is what I'm supposed to be getting from Diamond at my comic shop. I'm supposed to be getting Lighthouse, Jules Verne Lighthouse #2 from Image. So that's one of the books I'll get. Let's see. Lots of stuff here. I just gotta find everything here. Chained to the Grave, 3 out of 5. Let me see if I can get that properly moved up. There you go. Now you see the full cover. You only find them when they're dead, #6. Whoops. Push the wrong button. This is the book I'm getting for The Strange Attractors. I think I mentioned this to Pop Culture before. You're collecting the originals from the early 90s. This is the Terry Wood cover, but there's 2 other covers to this one. And let's see. I'll show the retro cover that is the original that they show as well. There's the original for Strange Attractors #1 with the Michael Cullen cover. So that'll be there this week. You should probably look for that since I think you were the one that said you were interested in checking that out before when I mentioned it. Let's see. If you happen to follow the Kayfabe comics group with Ed Disker and Jim Rugg, this week is the release of Red Room #1 by Ed. Mm-hmm. And we also have Bequest #3, Engine Ward #10, and possibly a Postman from Space graphic novel. I don't know. So those are like just things I'll be getting probably this week. Yes, I ordered the latest issue of Strange Attractors. Okay. Well, hopefully you'll be able to get the #1s in since they're in this week. Yes. Have you seen anything new of interest on Indiegogo or Kickstarter? Maybe. That's kind of stuff I'm going to be talking about on Wednesday, I think. Let me do a quick look, though. Let me close some of these other windows, if you don't mind. Let's see. Oopsie. I'm trying to see for sure. My camera, unfortunately, my camera gets in the way sometimes of where I want it to be. I'm not sure. I'll have to get back with you on that. There's a couple of them that maybe, but I'm not sure if they're still going or not. So I'll get back to you on that. Yeah, that was one of the ones I have marked as I needed to check on. It was the Kryptonals. So I do have it bookmarked. So I will look at that later tonight, as well as some other things as well for Wednesday's show. Okay. So that is pretty much it. Let me get into my so if you have any questions for me when this silly thing shares properly. There we go. If you have other questions for me, you can reach me on Facebook at Lewis.BrightRaven, on Twitter at LewisBrightRave2. You can see my art at deviantart.com/BrightRaven. You're watching Quoth the Raven, Lewis Brightraven on YouTube. If you have questions, you can email me at quotheravenlbr72@gmail.com. And if you can't reach me there, try Lewis Brightraven at yahoo.com. On Mondays, we have our comics news and reviews. Wednesdays is what did you get this week? We'll also do some more reviews. This Thursday, there's two topics of discussion. I'm waiting to confirm my guess still. They're kind of not really odd questions, but some people are thinking they're a little bit too heated. I don't know, but we'll see. But even if nobody else comes, then I'll talk about it by myself. And on Friday, genre night. Hopefully, we'll do either reviews of some of these movies or TV shows, or we'll do manga, depending on. I think manga will probably have to be next week because it's a lot of books to read. But maybe I'll do manga 1 and 2. We'll see. But that's what's planned for this week. And then on Saturday, we will be back with the vault sale and our live draw for Saturday and Sunday this upcoming week. So I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it as always. Have a pleasant week. Stay safe.